incest, greed, and unaliving. This is the story of Kari and Kenneth Allen. Growing up in the Indianapolis area, Kari and Kenneth appeared to be loving siblings, but a very messy divorce sent the two on a separate path. Kenneth moved down to Florida with his father, where he spent time in and out of jail, while Kari stayed in Indiana with her mother, and her mother treated her like a child. Kenneth had a crippling gambling problem that often led him to be broke. He would turn to his grandparents for money, and eventually they cut him off. So Kenneth had a plan. His grandparents had a nest egg of around $200K, and Kenneth wanted it. In 2004, 27-year-old Kenneth Allen would move back to Indiana to execute his plan. He manipulated his 18-year-old sister Kari into being his lookout. Kenneth told his mother about his plan and hoped that she would join in. But when Sharon Allen said no, that's when things took a quick turn. When Sharon returned to her Noblesville apartment, she was met by a knife and unalived. They dragged her body and placed it on her bed. The siblings then had a celebratory drink in the living room, and after a few drinks, they decided to have an incestual relationship in the room right next to where their mother lied. With their mother out of the way, Kenneth continued his plan, inviting their 75-year-old grandmother, Betty Bradley, over. When she arrived, she was met with a plastic bag. Kenneth and Kari moved the bodies to the bathtub. Kenneth went out and bought a saw and ended up dismembering the bodies. They then took the bodies to the grandparents' home in Indianapolis, where their next step was to take out the grandfather. 91-year-old Leander Bradley was in bed taking a nap when the siblings arrived. They lied in waiting until he woke up. When he woke up, Kenneth attacked him with a hammer, unaliving the grandfather. After the grandfather was unalived, his body laid on the bathroom floor for days, while Kenneth had access to this nest egg and went out and gambled nearly $60K of the money. And Kari had friends over. After Kenneth returned to the house, he ended up dismembering the grandfather's body as well, and then buried all the family members' parts in the basement. The siblings took off, and they were heading to Las Vegas, but they were stopped in Missouri after a routine traffic stop. Kenneth and Kari admitted to the crimes, and police went to the grandparents' Indianapolis home and discovered the dismembered bodies in the basement. Kenneth Allen avoided the unaliving penalty when he confessed to being guilty in January of 2010. He is serving the rest of his life in prison, plus 130 years. And in April 2010, Kari Allen was sentenced to 38 years in prison and 2 years of community corrections programs.